Good evening, everybody. I hope you all. Oh shit! I screwed something up. There we go. Um, I need my headset. Bear with me just one moment. Oh shit! I don't know where it is. Screw it. Anyway, hope you all are doing well. Um, God, it's been a long month and a half, which is why I haven't done my live streams all over the place right now. Hey, Watchman, what's going on? It has been 8 flights, 5 cities. I lost count of the hotels. Um, AP, I'm on the Gulf Coast again, which is fun. Uh, just watching the show. Hey, good evening, Caribbean House, KP, Watchman, Daryl, welcome. No specific agenda tonight. I just wanted to call and say hi and let you guys chat with each other. Hey, Holly. So, wow, it was, God, in the last, since the beginning of March, mm, 4 trips, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cities, 8 different flights or legs of flights, not including connection. That includes connections and whatnot. And God, it's been a long day. Like y'all can probably see it in my eyes. I'm just done. And I met one of my colleagues. This poor dude. He flew in from our base in Alaska, and he's in Texas. And that whole process is like a 12-hour flight, and you have a connection. And I'm in Houston right now, bud, KP, and he it's like a 12-hour adventure for this poor guy. And I went to the restaurant and the hotel. The company kind of prefers us to stay here, so because it has a restaurant, a bar, gym, the whole 9 yards. And they do take good care of us because they know we travel. And hey, Suburban, what's going on? Hey, Nunya, what's going on? Hey, Lucky, man, I'm always happy to see Lucky. Lucky is like one of the most awesome people. I really think that Lucky should have her own radio show. Like, legitimately should be working for like WFYZ radio somewhere in Texas. She's just quite awesome. So if you haven't followed her, go follow her. And her hubs is an army guy, so hoorah or hua. I say hoorah, and then the Marines make fun of me. I've been hanging out with a bunch of Marines lately. Lucky, I don't. Why are Marines all from West Texas, like the desert? It's like, did they want to see water and so they joined the Corps? I never understood that. Anyway, go check out Lucky. She's super busy lately, but when she does come on, it's always fun to hear her. Um, anyway, yeah, it's been exciting. I had a presentation today. It was a project I'm working on. There were a bunch of us there. So they had a training session, and they put a bunch of us who've known each other for 15 years. Like my daughter, when she was a teenager, used to serve pancakes to these coworkers, little kids, when they were in elementary. And now my daughter's 28 and their kids are in high school. Like that's how long we've known each other. And they put us all in the same class. And we know all the presenters. And then we were presenting to each other. And it just became such a rodeo. It was just funny. Like we had a blast, but I'm tired. Like the last 6 weeks have been an absolute road show. And it's a good road show. Like we accomplish shit, and business is good, and we've traded info, and like everyone's successful. But I'm just like, I don't know if you guys can relate. I don't even have a word for it, like exhausted. But the bar had bullet bourbon, and I'm like, can you put a double shot on ice so I don't die? Because I don't want to drink like straight bourbon the way I'm feeling right now. Hey, XNYC, what's going on? And Daryl Niels, welcome. Pure Blood, what's going on? Did you see the protest stuff? Yes, I was so excited. So for those of you who missed it, um, University of Texas had the Israel versus Hamas protests, and the protests from the Palestinian slash Free Palestine side got out of hand. And the president of University of Texas, which is known as kind of a liberal, like left-leaning school, called the state troopers. They actually, in a meeting, rescinded the rule that state troopers are allowed on campus. Normally, they let campus police handle. Neil did a video on it. Hey, Joy, welcome. And Prepper Insights. Hey, good to see you, Pure Blood Vision. Trent, Southern Tier. And guys, follow Southern Tier. Southern Tier is going through stuff. Follows, likes. Southern Tier, by the way, if you are doing a collection, please email me. Let me know. Yeah, we've been there. Things happen. Like I get you. But anyway, the president of UT said, "Look, if you disagree with Israel, you have a right to protest. If you agree with Israel and you disagree with Hamas, you have a right to protest. What you don't have a right to do is disrupt everyone else's college experience by being an asshole." She called state troopers, and he did, they rescinded the rule that says state troopers cannot be on campus. It's a campus police matter. And hey, Joy, yeah, they did bring the heat. The state troopers showed up in riot gear. Not only that, I heard there were guardsmen out there, there were county cops, sheriffs. They went in. Most of the protesters were actually trying to behave, and they were like, okay, well, the cops were like, you need to go over this area or I'm going to arrest you. And they left. The ones that resisted, immediately in cuffs. They're going to see a judge on next Monday, so they're going to spend the whole weekend in jail. Hell yeah! And then they arrested this very unfortunate Fox News cameraman who got pushed by a pro Hamas guy into the cops. The cops thought he was trying to instigate them, and they arrested the poor cameraman. And they took his camera. He had the big video cam. They took the camera away. Hey, Water Tiger. So last I saw morning was 20 arrests. I think there were more by now, lucky. But hey, excellent NYC, welcome, Pure Blood Vision. So yeah, they shut it down. They said you can protest, but there are rules. And the way the president of the University of Texas put it was there are rules to protect everyone, whether you agree or don't. They have the same rights you do, whether you like it or not. Rules matter, laws matter, and we're a state of laws. Absolutely made everyone's head explode on the West Coast. The governor of Texas, or the lieutenant governor, basically said, we don't really give a shit. If California doesn't like what Texas does, go to California. So there's been a bunch of little things on X, aka Twitter, that have been going back and forth, and I'm loving it. I'm like, look, personally, you know who wins? You want my opinion, and maybe I've had enough bourbon to be a bit unfiltered. You know who wins with Ukraine and Russia? You know who wins with Israel, Hamas, Iran, Raytheon, General Dynamics, Boeing, McDonnell Douglas, AMD. You guys get what I'm saying. Yeah, the contractors make out like bandits while people die somewhere else. If we could put $1 billion, 1 billion to our homeless veterans, we could house them all of them. So yeah, Lockheed, yes, Lockheed, Southern Tier, hell yeah. What happened to the protests if they took their opinions to the countries groups they were standing for? Well, Suburban, that's what's funny. I actually had a conversation with someone who is in the, I guess, the rainbow community. And I'm like, you are aware that by Sharia law, you would you would not even be worthy of a bullet or a knife like I would. They'd be like, oh, you're an honorable fellow, a knife to you, or firearms to you. No, you would be ejected from a building or like set on fire or some other horrendousness. And they didn't realize that. Like, and I said, look at what they did. Like, just Google it, YouTube it, and I think people don't realize how good they have it here. They really don't. I was talking with my coworker. The poor guy has to fly to Alaska in a couple of days, and he said they don't understand how the world works. It's like, let's think about this. COVID happened 4 years ago. I know that blows your mind, right? 4 years ago. So an 18-year-old now was 14 when the Rona hit. I want you to think about that. If they're 20 now, they were 16 when the Rona hit, when their shutdown officially occurred. That's gotta, hey, kill it and grill it. Welcome. And if anyone I missed, I apologize. The chat's kind of zipping by. They don't realize how the world was before there were consequences that people will react. Um, I'm actually making it a mission to find the ones who seem to be clueless and say, you know what? You need to understand how all this works. But yeah, some people don't realize how much we live in the US, except we'll put up with and that other countries, even countries in the West, wouldn't tolerate. No. Well, Lucky, if I snuck into, and Lucky knows this, I mean, I'm saying it to Lucky, but she knows. If Lucky and I decided, hey, you know what? We're going to sneak into Mexico to go to the beach and we didn't bring a visa, guess where we'd go? Jail. We'd go to jail for 60 days and then they'd kick us out. Holy Tiger went for prayers. Oh no, my husband thought it was funny. Oh no. Well, Holly, I hope you feel better. Frozen meat, get me a few times. Hold on, I lost the track of it. Single person got $100,000 and stayed on their feet. Well, Tracy, that's a good point. Tracy just put, I'm not on StreamYard, so I can't put your comments up. It said they could have given every single person 100 grand, right? We're in a bunch of debt. Give someone 100 grand. Hell, I'd pay off a bunch of stuff. Everyone would pay off something, unless they're stupid, in which case, they won't pay off anything. But hey, Mamacita, welcome, Mamacita 904. Hey, XNYC. Holly, sorry to hear that. Hold on, I'm trying to catch up. Finally caught a live. Normally, I do my lives in the early morning, and my schedule has been such garbage lately that my lives are all over the map. Like if you haven't noticed, the last month I've pre-recorded everything because I have no idea where I'm going to be the day I present that video. But folks, think about it. We've got a lot of young people who are now experiencing consequences, and they're actually in shock. They don't know how to take it. They're like, holy cow, what the hell? Why are they putting my friends in jail? Well, because you broke the law and you're being an ass. And they don't get it. They genuinely are not understanding. This is a unique opportunity for us to go, all right, you're young blood, come over here. Let me explain you something, because we don't do those things. You don't go, hold on, my screen's freaking out. And you know what, though, folks? If I had 100 grand, I'd keep farming till it's gone. Right, but kill it and grow it. You can, if you have any payments left on the land, paid for. Need a tractor, paid for. You know what I mean? Um, we've sunk so much. But here's the funny thing, they say $1 billion to Ukraine. It doesn't go physically to Ukraine. You know where the money goes? It goes to military contractors who build shit so that they can perpetuate this war. It's like we literally got out of Afghanistan and now there are two new wars for us to deal with. What the hell? And I'm waiting for the Israelis to just smoke Iran or vice versa. It's just going to be horrendous. And you know who suffers? Blue collar folks. They're not going to send Hunter. They're not going to send AOC. No, they're going to send our kids. They're going to send us. So, look, I'm a big fan of all the technology companies, but y'all make your profit another way, not on our back. So, but that's just me. Frozen meat is freaking dangerous. I lost track of the chat there. If I had 100 grand, I'd keep farming. So, yeah, Joy, I know someone who closed their car door on their own ear. What? They closed their car door on their own ear and couldn't free herself. How the hell do you do that? That is absolutely bizarre. Now I've closed, so I got in trouble at work about 4 months ago. So I put my usually when I get in my truck, I put my computer bag with some backpack in the back seat, get in the driver's seat, drive around. Well, it's West Texas. The wind is like 40 miles an hour or 80 miles an hour out of nowhere. Just get these gusts. I closed the driver's door, opened the back door to get my bag out. The wind took the door. I fell backwards and I yeeted my own laptop bag into the middle of a 4-lane road. And I heard the distinct crunch as my laptop hit the concrete. I went, shit. So anyway, I broke the computer. I called IT. And then my boss is like, what the hell, dude? And I was like, I didn't mean to yeet my own computer in the street, but when and he basically said, you're a shit, go away. And I got run off for a day. But anyway, I will not send my kids and hubby. No, and Lisa, I got one boy in and one who just left, and he's still IRR. I'm sure you know what that means. Um, couldn't free herself. Jory, I'm still stuck with how someone stuck their ear in a car door. How do you physically do that? Like that violates physics somehow. Must be uncomfortable. I'm praying for a quick recovery. Yeah, exactly my question. So, yeet. I did. So, for the record, for those of you who've been messaging me about the puppy, so the puppy is the youngest one. That's Stormy. You guys saw her. Then there's Bentley, the black and brown corgi. Then there's Pepper. They're all siblings. They all have the same daddy. Her daddy's called Stetson. Stetson had Pepper, Bentley, and Stormy. Stormy is a running riot who is worse than Bentley, and now Bentley's angry at the puppy because the puppy's more of a shit than he is. So he sat on her. So she broke his bowl. And my wife sends me a picture of a broken dog bowl, and I'm like, what the hell happened here? And she said, Stormy broke Bentley's bowl. And now Bentley ran her off. And I'm like, it's like having children. It's the most bizarre thing. But anyway, Stormy's adorable. Bentley knows trouble when he sees it. He does. So Bentley was trying. So we had to rehome. The story behind Stormy is funny. We had a Papillon, a fluffy guy, and he antagonized the corgis, and the corgis took it as a challenge. And Bentley and him got in a fight, and Bentley hurt the Papillon, and he needed stitches and the whole 9 yards. And then he recovered, and I had him sequestered, and I'm like, buddy, you've been voted off the island. I released him to the pack, and then the females ran him off. I'm like, okay, all the corgis have voted you off now. So we found a dog groomer in another town. She came over with her younger brother, and she's like, my mom had a Papillon when I was a little girl, and I can't find one anywhere. And I'm like, well, he needs a home. And they got along really well. She's been sending my wife pictures of the Papillon in the house, and I'm like, okay, I found them a good home. That night, I rehomed one dog, and a truck shows up like a van, a pet transport, and she has the little potato, which was Stormy. And I look at my wife, and I'm like, "Did you pet transport a corgi to the house?" And she goes, "Well, they were headed here because they're delivering some huskies to California, and they were passing through Texas from Tennessee." I'm like, "So you just kind of piggybacked on another shipment?" And now we have another corgi, and that's how we got Stormy. and Roaming's Doggy reality show. They are on Instagram. They are the Texas Corgi crew. If you want to follow them, Yardbirds, and welcome, by the way. Um, so Bentley is jealous. So Bentley tried to pee the Papillon and peed Pepper, and Pepper bit him in the butt because he peed her head, and she got very upset over that. It's just like kids. It's just absolutely hilarious. Um, and my daughter has 3 whippets, and a whippet, for if you've never seen one, is kind of like a shrunk down greyhound. They're amazingly fast, beautiful running dogs. Not very good at herding, but very sweet things and super fast, like 40-mile-an-hour dogs. So whippets are so pretty. Yeah, well, their male is Pico de Gallo, aka Pico. And lucky you'll find that funny. Hey, Red October, what's going on? Um, Pico is a brindle. He's got stripes. I've never seen a dog with those kind of stripes. He's just absolutely gorgeous. Um, but anyway, it's funny because all 3 of her dogs are these long-legged greyhound-looking dogs, and I have 4 potatoes. Well, 3.5 potatoes, because really Stormy's kind of like she's more like a spud. She's a tater tot. She's not really a full potato. But hey, folks, look, there's been a lot going on. So I was on today. Angry Prepper was on. Was Hudson on today? It was yesterday. God, today's Thursday. Holy shit. It's been one of those weeks, y'all. Seriously, I've clocked over 3,000 miles flying. I'm in the wrong time zone. Like my body is absolutely in the wrong place. Um, in any case, a lot of stuff going on. We shouldn't be panicking. Um, what's the topic? Get back Texas, bud. Hey, Red. No, I'm in Texas. I'm just bouncing all the cities. I was in San Antonio. This last 6 weeks, I've Houston, San Antonio, Austin, Houston again, Dallas. I've been like doing this. So I ever wonder what our animals say to us. So water tiger, it's funny. People don't realize corgis are very expressive, and that's why I love the breed. So I was, I don't know, when I was reading an iPad, I was reading the news, and I looked past the iPad, and all 3 of the adult corgis sitting there, all looking at me, and I'm like, "What do you need?" And they go, Bentley goes, huh. Then Pepper growls, and Luna chuffs, and I'm like, "Okay, so clearly you're trying to communicate." P, they didn't move. You want to play? No. And all the ears went. I'm like, seriously, you all ate dinner. Now you're going to make me get off the couch to give you cookies. But to clear my space, they got cookies. So they've basically trained me to give them cookies, which is kind of funny. I'm so upset. My dog was fine 3 months ago. Then she has all, what? How old is she? Suburban has Cushing's disease, diabetes, and gallbladder. Oh, she's 18. Yeah. Oh, she's an old girl. That's so sad. Chicken cone fire on the roof. Joy, I don't know what that means. I'm only getting pieces of that. Oh man. Hey Red, I may be back in your neck of the woods next month. I think. If I am, I'll reach out to you. By the way, I've actually had the privilege of having coffee with Red October and with Ted Redlove. I missed Cold War Prepper by 2 hours. He had a church thing, and I we just passed each other. But it's really cool to meet some of the other creators. I'm hoping to get. I have to go to New York at some point, and I'm hoping to meet Angry and Hudson and Livingston while I'm up there. Um, and I might have to do a work trip to Ohio, which means I could hit Mad Shad, Devil Dog, and Vision. So we'll see how my schedule plays out. Pico the guy, Red Roof on chicken. Thanks, you. The vets and I are doing everything we can for. Okay, yeah, it's all you can do, Suburban. Um, so Southern Tier, I maybe later in the summer. So I I grew up in that up there. I grew up in New York, so but I have no family there. Like my whole family went south. They all went. Phoom, all my siblings, the cousins, everyone. Phoom, they were all. So like we're all over Texas and Louisiana, which is kind of ironic. But my wife has never been to New York, so I'm hoping to bring her maybe later this year, more as a tourist, go see the sights. And while we're up there, I'm going to reach out to a few folks and see if we can all get together. So that would be fun. By then, I'll have a house by then. Yeah, Southern Tier. I saw some of the footage. That was rough. Please, like I said, email me the roaming prepper at gmail.com if you have updates or if there's something specific you need that I can send. Because that was by the way, I realized what happened and what was behind the vehicle, and I was like, man, that's only that could happen to preppers. Like most other folks would never experience that, but we would. The oddball stuff happens to us. Hey, Water Tiger. Hold on, wait. I'm losing track of the chat here, y'all. Hold on. Shoot, to do. And I lost my mouse here. Hey, Estatine, welcome. You ever wonder what our animals say to us? Yeah, my animals say I need more cookies, typically. Doggy trying to put out the fire. I actually had a cat catch fire, not by intention. The cat, it was one of my orange cats. You know, orange cats, orange tabbies always cause trouble. And he had this long ass tail, and he's just walking through the house. And my wife had put one of those like scented candles out, and she put it in the middle of the table. And but he had such a long tail, it goes boom, and his tail caught fire. And I'm sitting there, I'm like on the phone talking to one of my field engineers, and I look, I'm like, hold on a second, babe, the cat's on fire. And she looks and goes, oh shit. And when she stood up, the cat startled and jumped. And when he jumped, he put his tail out. And I'm like, oh God, I could see flaming cat running through the house, and now my house is on fire. That's why all my cats live outside now. Second dog I've been through with it. Oh no. What happened? Holly, is your dog sick too? My girl passed from Cushing's off. Too much bad food out here. I've seen articles on YouTube. Older dogs have a harder time. So you know what? For those of you who have dogs, I started dehydrating veggies. Like I'll get the pack of frozen veggies like peas, corns, carrots, stuff like that. Dehydrate them in the dehydrator, and I will mix them in with cooked rice and chicken breast, and just make a blend of it. And every now and then, I will give the dogs that for 2 days and just purge their system of the kibble. My dog confirmed more cookies are needed. Oh yeah, lucky the dogs absolutely want cookies. Um, yeah, that's a bummer. I'm sorry. Too many predators here in Arizona. Actually, Water Tiger, I was in Flagstaff, Sedona, and Phoenix during Christmas. I did a tour of Arizona. By the way, if you go from Flagstaff to Sedona, which is downhill for lack of a better description, and there's ice on the road, do not take the country route through the canyon. Take the highway. I took the country route, and I was skidding halfway down the mountain, and I did not like that at all. So just mental note. Um, Water Tiger could probably give more. I'm in Fountain Hill, not far from Phoenix. Sedona was beautiful, by the way. So, folks, look, there's a lot of people not behaving right. Pay attention. This is what we prep for. I've seen some folks on the other platforms, and they kind of freak out, especially the younger people. They're like, "Oh my God, there's an Antifa riot, and or there's Palestine riot, an Israel riot, whatever the hell protest is going on, and they panic. And the first thing I say, well, didn't you buy a flashlight? Don't you have food at home and water? And they don't think. And when I start asking these questions, they're like, well, yeah, I got canned food and I got MREs or whatever I bought online and I have water. I'm like, just stay at home and give it a few days and let the law enforcement kick it out the door. Um, I think a lot of younger folks, and I think not just younger folks, I think people in general are realizing things are not right. They genuinely are not correct. And they're freaking, no one's got squat unless something happens. Then they run out and panic. That's exactly right. Yardbirds, I had a 5-pound package of frozen hamburger meat on my windowsill to thaw. Left the house for a while. All I left was the wrapper styrofoam. The dog got it. Yes, I could absolutely see that. I love Brussels sprout. When my orange cat was young, I showed him a sticky trap with a live mouse on it. He went for it, and the trap stuck to his face. Off he ran, mouse and all. Oh, that poor cat. Well, I bet he never went and touched that again. Poke salad with scrambled eggs and cheese. You know what? Adopted dogs are some of the most appreciative creatures on earth. My cat raw food. Yeah. Well, so interesting. A lot of people are like, oh, my cat's vegan. No, cats are pure carnivores. They must have meat and protein at all times. Now, dogs are omnivores, so they actually benefit from grain and rice, but they need the meat too. So when you have these meatheads, these knuckleheads in like San Francisco, it's like, I make my cat vegan. They kill the cat, is what they do. And I know this because my daughter's a biologist and she's told me. I was a vet tech for years, and cats must have protein, as in animal content. That is what they eat. Um, so yeah, just is it me or is it buffering? A little bit of buffering. So the buffering may be on my end. As you can see, I'm in a hotel. Um, I don't have the creepy painting on this hotel. If you guys caught my last hotel live, I had the creepy painting, and I was like, it's the Leave the World Behind painting, and it was a big joke. I got this like padded, I don't know what that is. That looks terrible. It's like they filmed bad videos in here or something. Now that I'm looking at it, oh, that's freaking me out. I'm glad I don't have a black light. I think I'd get nauseous. I hear nothing but robot sounds. My cat is a serial bird murderer. I had one like that. Pale faces, poor thing. I know the joy. Um, Joe Rogan has a comedy about vegan cats. Well, it's funny, but then hey, K3GS, what's going on? So, folks, look, my take on what's going on. We have two OPEC nations in kind of a shooting war, right? Russia is Ukraine. They're having a war. We know about that. Iran is kind of having a fight with Israel, but it's stupid. I don't know what's happening, but they're fighting over Jordan, over Syria, and over Iraq, who are all OPEC countries. So if anything happens in the short term, it's going to be the fuel's going to it's going to take off. And if fuel goes up, as we found out during COVID, cost goes up on other stuff. So plan accordingly, folks. Have a mix of stuff, right? You have freeze dried foods, Mountain House, Ready Wise, whatever. Pack your own. Buy some Mylar bags, get some Wallaby bags or whatever, and pack your own rice. Pack your own. Get canned food, right? Uh, have some long term, have some short term. Diversify. Think of it like investors, right? You want to have bonds, stocks, precious metals, commodities. You want to be kind of spread out. So you have options, right? So if this one goes down, this one goes up, you kind of even out in the middle. Padded cell for those with no head. Yeah, Joy, I don't even know. Now that I've looked at it, because I'm looking at it on my screen and I'm like, that looks really bad. Like, why is there a padded headboard in this hotel? Like, what do they do here? This is just freaking me out now. Now, this is going to bug me. Hey, Magic. God, this is gonna bug me all night. I've been here a week, and now I'm gonna get the heebie-jeebies from this freaking room. By the way, if you're in a hotel, don't let your kids knock on people's doors at 2 in the morning. Because I had to make a presentation this morning, right? And I'm talking region boss, VPs of the division, global people. Like this was a serious thing. I know my shit. I'm a good engineer. I'm good at business. I got it. But at freaking midnight, I hear and teenagers, whatever, knocking on doors, and it was enough to wake me up and throw me off. And then I was up for an hour, and I'm like, really? So don't let if your kids are knocking on doors in the hotels at night, smack them in the head and tell them knock it off. It's okay to correct your kids. Although this is preaching to the choir, I'm pretty sure all of you would like shut your kids down immediately. Where you stay in the bait smoke. No, at Yardbirds, it's kind of like the dumbass drunk motel. It's actually a Hyatt. They have like a really neat restaurant and a bar, and hence why I label it bourbon. They sponsor like you have teams show up like high school, college teams, and the young kids are stupid, right? They're like, but yeah, I was a problem last night, and then my hotel clock was an hour off. It was still daylight savings. So the alarm clock goes off. I'm like, oh, it's 5 o'clock in the morning. Let me get up, get my stuff. I'm shaving, brush my teeth, pull my shirt, start ironing. My phone bings and I look at it and it's 4:02 a.m. And I look at the clock, it's 5. I'm like, you son of a gun. I was so pissed I unplugged the hotel clock and put it on the floor. I'm like, screw you. So I've been up since 4. 3:50 to be exact. Hit refresh, report to the front desk. Well, lucky by the time I got up and like was coherent enough, they were gone. But yeah, this hotel, if in the past, because the company puts a lot of people in this particular hotel near one of our facilities, and we had people being jackasses. And one of the other guys texted me. It's like, "Do you hear these people?" I'm like, "We were on the same floor." I'm like, "Yeah, these morons." He's like, "I'm calling downstairs." And the manager came up. I could hear her walking down the hall, and she's like, "If y'all don't settle down, you're gonna be kicked out. I'll call the police." And it got real quiet. I was like, "So they will," but by the time my brain was working enough, because it was freaking 1 in the morning, by the time I was coherent enough to call the front desk, they were gone. I was like, "Well, they'll come here, and there's nobody here." So hey, Lucky, have a great evening. Be safe. It was nice to see you, Lucky. It's been too long since we've had a chat. So um, be safe out there. Say hi to the gunner. And but folks, look, we got this. We know what we're supposed to do. I made a video earlier about ensuring your truck bag. I don't even call it a get at home bag anymore. It's your oh shit bag in the truck. Make sure you have what you need. And remember, don't be embarrassed to change it spring, summer, fall, winter, because you need different things. There's some that are common and some you have to change. So make sure you check your bag every so often. Make sure the food's good, the meds are good. One guy did that other video in the hotel the other day. You know, I keep a tourniquet and an Israeli bandage in my computer bag. The TSA guys think it's cool. For the record, I have gone through security with the bag. I'm looking for the bag. I can't find it now. It's back there somewhere. Um, I've gotten through security with the tourniquet, the Israeli bandage, and the little keychain that's like a tool. As long as it's not a knife, TSA will let it fly. So just we if you travel like I do, you have to kind of modify your approach. Would I like to bring a gun with me and a real knife and tools? Yes, but I can't always do it. Whether I like it or not, I'm kind of subject to the rules. But there's no reason we can't um, modify our approach. So this is going to be one of those weekends I'm flying in and my wife is leaving the same day. Like the dog sitter's coming to give the dogs lunch, and then she and I are missing each other. So, case like that, you know, I'm actually pondering packing travel bags for each of us because now it's gotten to the point she and I are in different directions half the time. And so we have the right things. Hold on. How's little Hunter doing? Hold on, I lost track. Good night, Lucky. Good night, Lucky. Little Hunter doing? I'm not sure what happened there. Uh, put your tinfoil hat on. It may work better. There you go. The Wi-Fi. But double check your truck bags, your travel bags. And again, look, you guys know I travel, right? I'm across Texas, and Texas is one of those states. The time it takes to drive from Houston to Dallas is 4.5 hours. In 4.5 hours, I can go from Boston to DC, if I'm correct, if I remember right, on the East Coast. That's how big freaking Texas is. Like, I literally, to walk from downtown Houston to the suburbs is a 12-hour walk. Dead serious. 12 hours. I've computed it. Um, yeah, Red October knows. Look, if you go from downtown San Antonio, which is a smaller city, to Helotes, which is kind of considered the suburbs, that's still a 6, 7 hour walk if you're on foot. A bike, about 45 minutes if your legs are up to par. So make sure your bag in your truck reflects your situation. Have goodies in the vehicle. Have snacks. Have war. Even if you never have the zombie apocalypse, other weird things happen. There are accidents. There's incidents. They shut down the roads, and you get stuck in the office. You at least have something to pull from. I couldn't get into jury duty with cross stitch last winter because I had a tiny needle and thread. Oh, that's just funny. Because ghetto people didn't need to know my son works. Oh, for freak's sake. Hey, Holly. You know what, Holly? Honestly, it's been so since beginning of we're April 25th now. So since beginning of March, 1, 2, 3, 4, I've made 4 trips in 6 weeks, 8 flights, 3 rental cars. I lost count of the hotels I've been through. And it's, hey, Pat. Yeah, Pat, I'm going to shut it down here in a little bit. But yeah, it's been a long week. Good night, JRC. Um, it's been long. It's been a long week. A lot of traveling around. It was good. It was productive, and thankfully, after the first week of March, I no longer am sick with a sinus infection. But it's been a trip. It's been a lot of travel. Um, Thanks, I appreciate it, Yardbirds. Uh, I am Water Tiger. I am. There's a reason I picked that name. I've been pondering a backup channel because I've gotten dinged twice on Instagram. What's weird, so here's funny. You guys know I'm on TikTok, X, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook. X, I've gone after, which is Twitter. I've gone after child predators, whatnot. Nobody mess with me. TikTok never messed with me. Got me on a copyright, but that was my fault. YouTube copyright. They've got me a couple of times, which is again my fault. Except for the video of the shooting of the Russian active shooter event. That one they dinged me for because violence. Okay, fair enough. Because I needed to put context. Done. Instagram has dinged me repeatedly for going after pedophiles, child trafficking, and other such things. Insta, not the other platforms. I don't know if Zuck's making money off of that. You know, I'm going to post until they kick me off. So I may have a backup channel here in the next 6 months. Hell, in the next 6 weeks, I may have a backup channel. on all the platforms. So when I do, I will let you all know. But traveling prepared, I've got a few names. You won't believe the bad mouthing I hear about law enforcement on all levels. Yeah, and it's funny, Suburban, because the people who badmouth law enforcement, and look, not every cop's great, and I think we have a problem in society that police officers in the world cannot use judgment on their own. There are occasions where a cop shows up and it's like, you're a stone teenager. You need to go home. But by the rules, they have to charge the kid. And now they ruined the kid's life. The cop didn't want to do that, but it's like the rules made it such. There was a time where the cop could be like, I'm taking you to your parents, and they'll go home and like drag the kid and go, hey, your boy was stoned. You deal with him. If I see him again, I'm arresting him. And then dad kicked his ass, and that was that. And they don't have a, hey, book club, welcome. Uh, it's tough. I back the blue, they've helped me. Well, Water Tiger, it's funny because my youngest son is technically law enforcement, a side cop, who is also my sensei. And he was a shit of a human being. He was a pain in the ass, sarcastic. He was a Vietnam vet. He was airborne. Um, I learned so much from this guy. But that was a generation where it was a little bit of tough love and it was kind of unfiltered. And I raised my kids the same way, right? I told my daughter, who's a very pretty girl, don't be the well, there was no OnlyFans, so I was like, don't be the internet hoe. Dad, my God, I said it in front of her, all her friends. I'm like, none of you little shits, no hoes. I will slap the shit out of you. I don't care if you're not my kid. And they're all laughing right now. Oh my God, your dad's so bad. A year and a half later calls me. The girls had gotten into vodka and pizza. They were gone. She goes, Dad. I'm like, yeah, babe. She goes, remember you told us not to be the internet hooker? And I said, if you're into the internet hooker, I don't want to know about it. She's like, no, Dad, I am not an internet hooker, but I'm seeing one right now. So apparently, she explained in her drunken stupor that um, the girls were on the patio of their apartment. They were eating and drinking and just having a girls' night. And you know how the apartments, they're like horseshoe shaped, some of them, and they have a pool where the people can go. Well, apparently, a bunch of girls just decided to take off their clothes. Boys took off their clothes, and all these naked people are in the pool. And of course, the cameras come out. And she's like, she's on the phone. She goes, Dad, our children will see this video in 20 years. I was dying. I was trying so hard not to cackle in the phone. And I'm like, that is correct, young lady. You don't want to be that woman because that will come back to haunt you. She goes, I know. And then I'm like, how much vodka did you and Brittany and all the girls have? So she says, I don't know. So she says, girls, how many bottles? And there's commotion in the background. She gets back on the phone. 3. There are 5 girls in that apartment, and you all have gone through 3 bottles of vodka. Yep. Are you driving? No, sir. Okay. Have fun tonight. Thanks for sharing. She's like, okay, Dad. Click. I don't know if she remembers that conversation. I will always remember that conversation. But oh my God. Um, custody of them, so it works for me. Yeah. And no sir cops. They've got a gun. Yardbirds, absolutely. And you know what? I've been pulled over from my own stupidity. Like I lost track of my speed and I got pulled over and state troopers as a young guy. I pull over, I'm like, oh, I roll the window down. He comes up and goes, good afternoon. I'm like, I was speeding, wasn't I? He goes, yeah. I said, it's been a week. Let me get you my ID, brother. And so I get my ID, my concealed permit. Um, I pulled a business card. I'm like, because I work for a corporation. I'm like, here, I don't know what you need, but I'll give you all of it. do you want me to pull over somewhere else so you're not in the highway? He's like, no. He looks at all my credentials. He's like, all I need is your license. He gives me the other stuff back. He runs me. He comes back. He goes, have a nice day. Slow down, boss. He's like, I don't want to scrape you off the highway. We had a bunch of accidents out here. I'm like, brother, you didn't need to pull me over. That was my own negligence. He's like, be safe. And he just wanted to go about his day. I was not his enemy. He was not mine. And honestly, if our communities, if our societies stop picking fights with each other, life would be so much better. Honestly, my step grandson is afraid of me too. I raised him and his mother's the same way. Fear of God in them these days. Yeah, no, absolutely. I have custody of them, so it works for me. My grandkids are scared shit of me. But you know what, Holly? They're going to grow up and understand limits, consequences, and that's important. Um, I'm blessed. I have like my youngest son's daughter-in-law and my wife are very close, and my daughter, and she's an army girl, and she is her mom is a homesteader. She is one of those. I will go to war to defend my husband, which is my son. I will go to war to defend my baby, and so whatever she needs, if she texts my wife for me and she's like, "Hey, do you guys know where I can find that?" I will make sure that she has what she needs, and I want her to know that every day. And I'm blessed that my son found that. My daughter has found a doctor of all people who is respectful to women. He is thoughtful. He is very intelligent. He's probably one of the most. I hang out with engineers and scientists all the time. He's got to be one of the smartest people I've met. And I'm like, I am blessed. And the other son married an ER nurse. I'm like, I am blessed that y'all found I did something right. Not that they don't annoy me, my children. I like my in-laws better than my daughters and sons-in-law better than my kids sometimes, but I'm blessed. I obviously did something right that they found those partners to be in their life. I don't know if that the way I phrased that made sense, but well, Holly, and that's the point. They know, they know. My dad had a theory that children need boundaries so that they can grow to be the people they should be. And he said it in Spanish. In Spanish, the phrase he used makes a lot more sense. Like the context makes sense. When you translate it to English, it sounds awkward. So it's got a bit of a language thing. Um, but yeah, and it turns out my granddaughter, my oldest granddaughter, her hair is turning auburn like her mama, but she's got daddy's skin, which is tan. I'm like, oh, I told my son, oh, she's gonna be gorgeous when she's 16. And he looks at me deadpan. He goes, I'm a cop. I'm not scared. He said, besides, if I can't do it, I'm just gonna call you. So I did something right, and I truly I'm blessed. Yeah, growing up, I in New York back when I did, kids were getting killed left and right, and everything after 17 years old was lanyap. So, y'all count your blessings. Love the people you love. Spend time with them. Be there for them. Um, we a lot of us we've had. It's been a weird 4 years since COVID hit. It's been weird, but lo and behold, we're still here and we're being ready, we're being smart, we're adjusting, we're course correcting. Let's keep doing that. Let's keep um let's keep what's the phrase? God, I'm trying to think. It's not corrective action, it's I guess evolutionary. Use your evolutionary approach, continuously improve yourself, knowing that what's ready today may not apply 3 weeks from now, a year from now. Be ready to modify what you're doing the fundamentals are the same: the food, the water, the skills, the equipment. Know how to adjust accordingly. Endeavor to persevere. That unknown knows, that's a really good phrase. Endeavor to persevere. That's absolutely correct. Grandkids, Puerto Rican and Italian on their mom's side, European on my side. So my children are Kunas Mexican, Holly, and I'll tell you what, my house was a running riot when they were growing up, and my granddaughters are running riots. So it's been very interesting. And then I have the potatoes who are running riots all by themselves. So um, Darwin needs to put in some overtime. You know what, Suburban? There are a lot of these like Antifa types and these Free Palestine that when you sit and you kind of pin them down and say, hey, do you realize that this action, this organization you're supporting would do this to your best friend? And they look at you and they just, I've red pilled several young adults in the college because I'm in grad school, right? So I run into undergrads and I'll red pill one of them and they'll go, you see it in their face, they go, and I'm like, you need to be ready for contingencies. And they're like in shock. I'm like, don't freak. Okay, I don't need you throwing up in my truck. You get ready for it. And it's funny. So much fun of the mixed family. Holly, it's funny because you get those you get the mixed cultures, and it's just funny. Like we've had we've had family get-togethers where we had crawfish fettuccine, right? Classic Italian slash Cajun dish, crawfish fettuccine, which by the way will knock you out, with tamales, tacos, fajitas. But then we switched to scampi, shrimp scampi, and it's like this hodgepodge of food, pierogies, the Polish pierogies, and people will have friends come over and go like, "What the hell are those raviolis? That's a pierogi. What's a pierogi? It's a Polish dish. What? Well, what's that? No, that's a fajita, dude." And they get so screwed up, and I just love it because basically, if the Puerto Ricans will eat the Polish food, the Polish folks will eat the Mexican food, Mexicans will eat the Puerto Rican food, and it's just this weird mix. Honestly, oh, empanadas. I need to do a video of the panaderia down here, the empanadas, this pumpkin empanadas. They're like that big. Oh God, they could put you in a food coma. Hey, Grammys, welcome. Got to get off early. My service truck had to be repaired. Water tiger. Okay, cool. Well, folks, look, it looks like the states are acting very differently. So Texas shut down the improper protests. They said there's a process, but if you're not obeying the law, you're going to jail. And it was in UT, which is a very liberal school, University of Texas. They had something at Texas Tech shut it down. A&M, Texas A&M shut it down. LSU shut it down. Once the ones that obeyed the rules could protest in their box. They didn't obey, they got put in jail. Columbia has actually told all their undergrads that, oh, guess what? You're going to have a remote semester because of the protests. So they basically surrendered the campus to the protesters who are not supposed to be there. If I was paying $87,000 for Columbia University tuition and found out that my children could not go to campus because if people wouldn't behave, I would transfer them to another school like A&M or LSU or Oklahoma State, or one of the many, many universities in this country that would respect the rule of law. I think that's atrocious. I think it's embarrassing. Shame on Columbia. Yale, actually, the National Guard showed up at one of the Yale campuses. So I don't know what's going on there. I haven't figured it out. Miami shut the protest down pretty fast, but then the crowd wasn't massive. No, but you know what? The crowd didn't get massive because the cops showed up and shut it down while it was still like a nucleus. I don't know if that makes sense. Before it received a critical mass, they got chopped off. And anyone who was looking to cause trouble were like, the cops are already here, going home. Um, DeSantis. No, and fair enough. I mean, all the politicians have an angle, to your point, and I don't disagree. I think DeSantis is less offensive than some others, but all of them have their little. But the bottom line is, the question is, are they reflecting their uh, constituencies? And Florida wants law and order. There's a law, there's rules, obey them, and they're enforcing it. So, I'll give him a check mark for that. Now, other things he may be doing, that's fine. Although he beat up Disney, I was amused by that too. I was okay with that. So, folks, look, if you're traveling, we're getting to spring. It's already end of April. So, God, it's already May. May, June, July, August. Summer's coming up. Kids are going to get out of school. Update your bags. Update your kids, bug out bags, get home bags, whatever you want to call them. Teach your kids, if they're old enough to understand, hey, I used to give my kids a little flashlight. I said, you don't play with it. That stays in your bag in case there's a blackout at school. In reality, that was like an emergency kit, but I couldn't give them a knife in school, in junior high or high school, but a flashlight nobody cared about. I told them in case there's a blackout. In reality, it was for them to get home. Teach the kids. Update your bags. If you're going to go on vacation, you're going to go on a cruise, you're going to go visit family, make sure you've got your bag set the way you want it so you have some resources and you won't get it perfect. You're going to always forget something, but that's okay. Miami-Dade needs the Port of Miami revenue. They weren't going to let protest. Oh, God, no. And they shouldn't have. But bottom line is, we're getting into summer. Make sure your kits are good, and also check your vehicles: tires, brakes, gas, oil change. If you go on vacation, you don't want to break down in the middle of nowhere. Okay, that becomes a mini shit hit the fan right there. So take your time, organize yourselves in the spring before the prices and the gas and everything goes up for the summer. Make sure you're ready for travel when June, July, August hit. So you guys have minimum stress and you guys are ready to go on the road. Bug out weekend. When is bug out weekend? It is next week. I need new go bags. Mine are old and just insufficient. Well, unknown, I need to go through mine again. Um, and kind of upgrade it a little bit because, well, think about it. The environment is changing. Being a prepper, a lot of people think, okay, I need food, cans, etc. Being a prepper is not a static thing. It's not like, oh, I've checked all the boxes, I'm prepared. It's dynamic. Threats and problems change. So you need to be ready to say, hey, the situation changed. I need to change my bag. I need to change what I have at the house. They recently claimed that a Russian hacker group hacked a town in Texas and not only screwed up the water tower and the water pumping system, but flooded part of the town. I have not been able to confirm it, but my wife saw that. She forwarded the info to me. I'm down here in Houston. She's in West Texas. And she said, I'm going to go pick up extra water. So she got extra 5-gallon jugs. We have a rack for them. She made sure we were stocked up. She Sharpie markered the date of purchase on everything. So she saw new information and she adapted and modified her approach immediately. Even though I was on the other side of the state, I was 9-hour drive away. She took the initiative. She made some changes and then called me and we reconciled information so we were on the same page. So, hey, Teresa, welcome. Consider yourself individually tagged. Hey, Niels, what's going on? I'm cleaning out my pantry, reloading it with new stuff. Yeah, absolutely. Also, maintenance, generators, change the oil, function check them. Jackeries, solar generators, plug everything in, charge it, make sure they're up to par, make sure your solar panels are working, check your car, oil change, your firearms, knives, maintenance, lubrication, clean them, wipe them down. Um, if you have a firearm that's your favorite, go and function check it, sight it in, be familiar with the operation of the firearm. Uh, Vision preparedness, May 2nd through 5th. So that's, hold on a second, folks. That is, okay, that's going to be next week. So I will not be there, sadly, or I don't think I'll be there. I might sneak out of work, but in any case, make sure check in them. He usually does videos while they're lives, or while they're at the camp. So used to be in a wheelchair, different due to that. Conditions change, resources change. Yeah, absolutely unknown. And we need to be ready to evolve. Now, remember, you have that 80%, 90% gear is what I call it. Like a first aid kit applies to a bunch of stuff. Food applies to a bunch of scenarios, right? So there's some items, food, water, lighting, meds, that apply to almost everything. Then you have those weird situations like chemical attack or aliens or chupacabra or whatever. So those you got to prep for kind of on the fly. And as the threats evolve, you kind of modify what you're doing. But in any case, next Thursday, yeah, it'll be fun. Y'all have a blast out there. Those of you who can make it, change your furnace filter. Yes, air filters, furnace filter. Fix your house if you can do it. Um, Make sure your pets have their shots so that if you have to evacuate, you don't get stopped and quarantined. You're like, dogs have their rabies. I'm ready to go. And you can go to a shelter. As a guy who trained for shelter ops with the Red Cross, I will tell you, if you have a dog that is not behaving or is not properly immunized, they may kick the dog out, and which means you go with the dog. If your dog's properly immunized and socialized, it makes it a lot easier for the guy running or girl running the shelter to say, well, you guys just stay here. This is your area, and there's no conflict. So be mindful of what you're doing, guys. There's no reason for us to get caught completely off guard. Granted, weird stuff happens, but you have the bug out bag, you have your get home bag. Even when you're traveling in a suitcase, I have some amenities in my carry on and some that go in my bag, my check luggage. I at least have some tools I can work with. And prepping ultimately is about having options in a scenario, whatever that scenario may be. So maximize your options. You know what I'm saying? Motion activated lights equals no chupacabra Sasquatch, no guarantees. No, but you may have drunks in the backyard running through or corgis running through the motion detector lights. Um, in any case, Teresa Buchanan, if you need her out, I can come get you. Well, look, folks, I know my lives have been all over the place. My schedule's been a hot mess. I'm sure you can see it in my face. It's just been a long week. It was a successful week. Um, Me and my teammates have been blessed with both business and positive relationships with the people we work with, which is a good thing because everyone wins. Um, but I'm gonna go shut it down. I'm gonna go finish my bourbon. I'm gonna watch the news. You guys be careful out there. Be safe and double check your stuff. Remember, different times of year, different scenarios require different gear. Be careful, be safe. God bless. And for those of you in Texas, if I'm in your neck of the woods, you may get a text from me, Red October. I'm talking to you specifically about picking up a coffee somewhere. So I'll see you guys later. Um, be careful. And we got this. We're smart. We're trying to work at it. We got this. Just stay calm and keep out of trouble. We'll see y'all later.